A website is a bit like if you go to just a library, right? And like you've got all these different books, you've got all these different things you can choose from. However, a landing page is simply taking one of those very specific books out. So for example, like here's one of our old clients, 89, so they're garage door specialists. When you click and you go to their website, they've got an About Us section, they've got residential doors, underneath that they've got different sections, commercial doors, underneath that they've got different sections. Whereas when we have a landing page, we want one very clear and direct action, one very clear message. Like if I click an ad for the letter B, I don't want to go to the alphabet. I just want to go to the letter B, right? Whereas a website is for more people, more of a directory, right? So if you go to our landing page, there's no menu at the top. There's no home. There's no about us. There's no blog. There's no jobs here.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, there's one thing. You clicked an ad for the With You program. Literally everything here is about the With You program. There's nothing else you can do. The only call to action on this page is what I want you to do, which is start your application for the With You program. Now, I used to use our website as an example, but now our website is a very poor example because to prove my point, I like half deleted our website. So our website literally just says there's only two types of people that come here. We only send traffic from our ads to our With Your application funnel. So you're either wanting to apply and that takes you to our landing page, or you're a competitor and it takes you to apply to drive for Uber, right? That is one of those examples of like do as I say, not as I do, because this is me just like fucking around with stuff, right? That wouldn't be considered best practice. Best practice for a website will be something like 89s where you've got all these different things, but I just like fucking around on the internet. Now, we've covered already the principles for a landing page. So physical resistance and psychological resistance. So physical resistance being clicks, keystrokes, scrolls. Psychological resistance being thought, trust, and like curious versus committed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this landing page, and based on everything that we've talked about the other day, I'm just going to scroll through this and just shout out feedback on this landing page based on those principles. So starting from the top.
I'm kind of already bored because it's just too much text. There's no face to the product.
Yeah. So with the too much text, so like there's like a lot of psychological resistance there, a lot of thought you had to put into that.
I can't be bothered reading that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's an essay.
Yep. What about the headline? Remember the headline we talked about was like the feeling plus result?
So it's a thing, but it's not a result. So it's a thing, okay, well, what's the outcome of it? It's not quite clear.
Yeah, cool.
And then you've got what we teach, how to use Ableton, how to use samples, okay, cool. But like, what's the outcome going to be, right? And then you got your testimonials, okay. It's just text. There's no video.
So they're rich text, right? So people's bullshit meters go off.
Yeah, and anybody can type that too. Like, like I can grab a picture off a website from some nerd-looking dude just there with chess. Yeah. And you know, it could be fake. Yeah, I just don't believe.
What do you think about the form?
I mean,
well, firstly, where is it?
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. The call to action's at the bottom. So if I'm not convinced by then, how am I going to get to the bottom to know that there's even something to do? And based from my feedback, people want to, the thing that they want to do the most is actually inquire. They may not even want to read the rest of the stuff. So even if the ads or everything before they went on this landing page was convincing enough, even that shit text, body of text could be irrelevant anyway if you had the thing on top.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next thing as well is like the call to action is just get in touch.
Yeah.
So it's very generic call to action. Like we talked about the other day, you want to make it feel like they're starting a process.
Yeah.
And then even from a design perspective, we talked about fashion versus function, right? So fashion being like it looks pretty, function being, well, this doesn't have any fashion or fucking function. So like plain black background. The form says button at the bottom. So there's a lot of like triggers going off. Like this landing page, again, dials not switches. It'll work to a degree, just a fucking terrible degree. Now, what about this one?
Yeah, straight away. And like the background picture, you're talking to people. It's real. It's harder to fake that, you know? It's in the moment and it's straight to, it's attention, electronic music producers. Okay, I'm an electronic music producer. It is for me, for example, if I was that. And then a structured path to becoming label and tour ready as an electronic music producer. Right, all right, I'm going to get a path out of this.
Yeah.
Label and tour ready. I want to be label and tour ready. That sounds great.
Yep. Some other things I point out as well, the video, so the VSL, we'll spend quite a lot of time today talking about scripting a VSL for you. It auto plays, and everyone's web browser will auto play with the video on mute, and very few people will bother clicking unmute, right? And so we want to be able to just read along. So we always burn in captions at the bottom. When I hover my mouse over it, kind of blocks it, but so they can at least just read along. The call to action above the form, next step, get matched with your coach. By answering a few questions, that's significantly more appealing than simply get in touch.
Yeah,
right. Feels
get in touch with who?
The process.
Yeah.
Yep. There's more social proof, right? So most producers enter industry set with no sound editing, inconsistent releases, and 0 industry replies. This is what changes. Like they get signed to all these labels that they can recognize. They get you know, they're playing at these festivals. This is actually a really good example of linking the sales team and the marketing team, because we added this because the sales team was telling me when I was running the ads for this, I still do, they were saying, hey, like people enroll significantly faster when they find out, you know, what labels people had been signed to or what festivals people had been signed to.
Yeah, and then having that question as part of the sales process is also important, because then that's a feedback loop to optimizing your landing page.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. This bumped the conversion rate pretty significantly.
Yeah.
And that's an example of like prioritizing the things that convince people, right? So like we were talking about the other day, marketing is debating at scale, and there's certain arguments that are significantly more compelling, and you put the more compelling arguments at the top, right? So we placed this above the video testimonials because the feedback was this was what got them over the line more so than this. This still helped. The other thing as well is we can lower psychological resistance to watch the right testimonial. So what we do is, because there's so many different testimonials here, right? Actually, this is a perfect example. Sometimes people ask me like, hey, how many testimonials is like too many testimonials? My Wi-Fi's getting a little bit shit when I try to scroll down all the way, but
that's a flex.
Right, like we have fucking heaps. Jackson actually ran a split test and he thought there were too many testimonials, and so he deleted all but the biggest 4, and it like cut the conversion rate in half. So I was like, all right, just put those back. So easy, put them back, went back up again, right?
But you don't ever really see an influx of testimonials on these landing pages because most of these, they don't put in the effort or they don't have any.
Yep.
So how do you differentiate the difference between a good operator or a good business?
Yeah. The other thing as well is no one is fucking watching all of these.
No.
But merely the fact that you scroll through so many, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, all right, I get the point. They will watch 1 or 2 for sure. But the other thing as well is we want them to watch the most relevant one. So what we do is we put not just their name, but also what style of music that they make.
Yeah.
And then a key quote from the testimonial, because we want, again, remember, meet them where they're at. We want the customer to see themselves in one of these testimonials, go, oh, I'm thinking that. In this particular instance, what's most relevant is what style of music does this person make, right? For industry sets, for where you is what industry is their business in. So we put what style of music that they make, as well as a key quote from the testimonial, so that people can see, oh, I make that style of music and I'm thinking that. Because when there's so many different testimonials, they will usually just pick like whoever's the first one or whoever they find the most attractive in the thumbnail or whoever they just look like the most. But that person might not necessarily be the best person to watch. The best person to watch is like they make my style of music and they were experiencing the same challenges that I am right now before they enrolled.